Hello everyone and welcome to Web Daniel Sport, my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for subscribing. Invite your friends, frenemies, in-laws and outlaws as well and tell them to subscribe to this channel. Now that the coronavirus pandemic has hit sport and everything to do with life in the world, well, probably it gives us more reason to concentrate more on the teams we love, talk about them a bit more and the things that concern those teams. Now today we are going to be discussing Manchester United's unsung hero, Harry Maguire. You guys, why don't you like Harry Maguire? Let me tell you this. Even when Maguire has managed to improve Manchester United's defense, every day after each and every Manchester United game, all you guys I know come out and instead of praising the guy for once, you're always heaping praise on everyone else but him. It is always either Igalo who will come on for 5 minutes and because of his nice hold-up play, changes a bit of the game for a minute or so, you praise him before praising Harry Maguire for not conceding a goal. Fred has been, of course, one of the guys who has been very much praised by almost everyone after Manchester United game, which is okay. He deserves it. David De Gea at times, Bruno Fernandes, of course, the messiah at Manchester United now. But guys, when will you just give some credit to Harry Maguire? You're only quick to judge him when he does something wrong, when he throws a blind pass, but you don't praise him when United is going 9 games out of 11 without conceding a goal. And that is why I'm here to talk about him. Guys, you remember in 2019 when he joined Manchester United from Leicester City, he actually joined for a world record fee of £80 million. For a defender, it was a world record, never seen, never heard of in the world of football before. And of course, so many of us, including me, to be honest, I'm being honest with you here, I also had reservations about that price tag on a player like Maguire. But if you think about it, if you've been following the markets lately, I mean, the transfer markets are so crazy lately in that you can get a nobody for so much money. And for a player like Harry Maguire, a guy who has played, I think, to the semi-finals of the World Cup with England, played every game involving England in the recent concluded World Cup. He was a 3-time back-to-back player of the year for Sheffield United, joined Hull City, won the Premier League with a bunch of nobodies at Leicester City, for lack of a better word. I mean, in terms of football, that's a figure of speech. So guys, Jamie Vardy and what have you, don't you, hate on me. But the fact is, Leicester City were an outcast in winning their Premier League title. Harry Maguire was part and parcel of that success story. He joins Manchester United for £80 million. Of course, all of us were like, well, is he worth it? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with Man United, remember at that time, all their struggles mostly, well, they were not scoring goals, but they were also letting in so many goals. Their defense that had all these guys, Phil Jones, Eric Bailly came in and tried, of course, to hold it down, but was, hit by injuries. The United defense was struggling. Harry Maguire came for £80 million. You started judging him from the onset. Like, is he worth it? English defenders are always not that good. English players never live to the expectations of the world and You said all this stuff. Like, maybe you guys had a point, but give the guy some time. Of course, the first games we saw the jitters. Looking a bit jittery. He was actually nutmegged on a couple of occasions by would-be small players, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer trusted his man, and games later, 29 games later, Maguire is, for me, at the heart of the best defense in probably the top 5 leagues in Europe. And stats don't lie, they say. Man United, out of 10 games, they have gone 8 without conceding a goal. And Harry Maguire is one of the few players who have been part and parcel of all those games, whether in the Europa League, whether in the Carabao Cup, the Premier League, and all these leagues that Man United is playing in. Maguire is there. Now let's talk about this Maguire and what he adds to this Manchester United team. Let us credit him for what he does. First of all, Harry Maguire, in as much as, like I said earlier, he's not a good ball passer, it is very unfair for us to judge a defender, a centre-back, because of his ball passing. Never mind if one defender has such an attribute like Virgil van Dijk, well, it's an extra. Well, in the modern game, you need ball-playing defenders who can start initiate play from the back. But Manchester United's style is more of counter-attack, is more of those straight balls, one-route football at times. So you don't really need to have your centre-back be the best ball passer if you have players like Fred, if you have players like Bruno Fernandes now. But Stats show that in in the 29 games he has played for Manchester United, some of course are not in the Premier League, but in the Premier League alone, Harry Maguire has won 136 aerial duels. Now, that's massive. Give him credit for that. That is why he was bought for £80 million. He's a defender. Secondly, Harry Maguire has brought a leadership that has been lacking in Manchester United, probably since the years of Roy Keane or so. Let me tell you, for a team to be successful, you need a leader both on the bench as a manager, but also on the pitch. Jose Mourinho said it best. Not all captains are leaders. Yes, I'll give you examples. Many teams have had captains. Man United has had Ashley Young before Harry Maguire. I'll tell you, between me and you, we know it. Yes, Ashley Young, much respect. He did all the things he did for Man United during his heydays. But for him to be captain at United at a time when United is trying to resurrect, you probably don't think he was the best of captains for United. Think about teams like Manchester United during the years of Roy Keane when he was the captain. Arsenal when they last won the Premier League with Patrick Vieira. Think about teams like Chelsea when they had John Terry. You think about teams like Real Madrid, Sergio Ramos as the captain. Manchester City on the peak of their years when they had Vincent Kompany. These are leaders. Not all captains with the armband are leaders. Man United lacked leadership. Ashley Young is not the kind of player whom you think would scream or bellow out instructions to some of these players like Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial, and they would really listen, not because they are not professional enough to respect him, but mostly because as a player, naturally, I was a footballer before, of course not at top level, but if you do not, you think you're better than you can do much better than your captain, and they shout out instructions at you, you do not really respond to them the way you would probably if a person like Roy Keane, Patrick Vieira, John Terry bellowed out instructions to you if you're a young player. So Ashley Young did not really have that command, that respect from even his players. In as much as they would be professional and try to, of course, to act and all that, in their heart of hearts, they wouldn't really listen to him. Harry Maguire comes into this team, and we see a leader, the leadership that Man United had been lacking. I'll give you an example, a classic example. Is the last game before the coronavirus pandemic, halted football. The last game involving Man United against Lask in Austria. We are lucky, thanks to the gods of football, this game was played in front of a largely empty arena, behind closed doors. We got an opportunity to listen to voices from these players. I'll tell you, ever since the start of the game, from the first minute, the voice that stood out most was Harry Maguire, bellowing out instructions to the likes of Bruno Fernandes, who is Manchester United's best player right now. But he would listen, telling him to not waste time on the ball, release the ball and all that. Eric Bailly telling him when to tackle. Maguire has organized the Manchester United defense, and that has brought confidence in players who should be getting the goals. Anthony Martial, Bruno Fernandes, and all Fred, of course, a holding midfielder. All these players to concentrate more on their roles. He has released them. He has freed them. Why? Because they know at the back there they have got a fortress. They have got an organizer. So the organization we are seeing in Man United, I've told you Maguire has started all their past 11 games. Let us give this guy some credit. He is the unsung hero in the success story of Manchester United in recent years. Also, to give you a sample of his character, before this game against Lask, it was reported, earlier on, that actually Maguire had the confidence to move around Old Trafford, talking to the staff of the club, telling them to believe or to trust in the project, the Ole Gunnar social project of taking Man United back to the top where it belongs. That is a character of a confident captain, a man believed in, and for me, Man United needed that. Leadership is very important in some of these top flight teams, even these small clubs. The captain is not just supposed to wear that armband. He's supposed to be a leader who can organize and instill the coach's philosophy onto the pitch, because the coach is always on the bench, with his cold when results are not going their way. It's always the captain to motivate the players on the pitch. And I'll tell you, Harry Maguire has done that. Guys, give Maguire some credit. For me, Harry Maguire is, yes, there is Fred. He has been impeccable. There is Bruno Fernandes. In the 9 games he has played for Man United, he has been impeccable. There is Martial, of course, Marcus Rashford before he got injured. But I'll tell you, for me, Harry Maguire is the reason, he's the fulcrum or the linchpin on which the consistency that Man United has built in recent games spins. That's my opinion. Tell me your opinion, first of all, by subscribing, but also hitting the like button on this channel. Also, drop down your comment. What do you think about Harry Maguire? In as much as, yes, he has his weaknesses, but yeah, he's only human. He's a player. He's a young player, of course, just about, 27? Well, not so old. So there is more to learn for him as a player, playing in the biggest club in the world. I am Webb Daniel. This is Webb Daniel Sport. Thank you so much for subscribing. Call on your colleagues as well to subscribe to my channel.